Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. Okay, we got the first groove in. Now we got to get the second groove in. But before I do that, I'm going to come all the way over 1565 and cut my seat for the in cut. All right, we're all set. We need to deburr that. Does it talk about a deburr? Nope. So we'll just kiss it real quick. And this one is ready to go over to the mill. Loosen it up, take it out, and I'm wondering if we couldn't just slide this in this way. I mean, it's snug, certainly snug enough to trim off that outer edge. All right, let's go ahead and mark it. It's okay from that edge. There it is. And since we have this bit right here, and we know that it's accurate, we're going to bring it right down to that line. It looks pretty good. Make sure we're still within range. It looks good. All right, so let's put a trim tool in and just take off this whole back section. Let's do that again. All right, this one's done. At least the outer dimensions are done. Now we got to come in and drill some holes in the center on both ends and take out some notches and fiddle around in that way. And we'll go from there. Now we got to do one more. So, and we're going to go to 984. So we are at 993.5. No, 997.5. Okay, so there's 87. There's 10 thousandths. 11, 12, 13 and a half. Okay. We'll take this back out. This should take us fairly close. It's taking us to 85, 86, and almost 87. So we got 3 thousandths to take off. And I believe we're going to do that with the file because this part of my lathe is fairly worn, and it tends to wander around a little bit. In fact, here, let's take some measurements and see how far it wanders. Okay, so we're at 12 here. We're at, come on, we're at 14 there, and we're at 14 and a half there. So we need to go 12. We need to come down 3. Slow and easy. That takes care of that part. Now let's come in and trim out the outside edge. Okay, here's what we got in this little small space. We're gonna drill 4 holes, and I think these are just, oh no, these are tapped at 3.5, 0.6 millimeters. And so then what has to happen is we rotate back around and we drill 4 holes here on the opposite side. And okay, we have to drill these first. Make sure we get this right. And then when we flip it over, these, I'm going to set these up as my index points, and these will index the position. So then I flip it over and index the position, And then these holes are timed with these holes. You can see there's our center line, and here's our center line, and these are, looks like 45 degrees off of that center line. So, and that whole setup has to be timed, and also this little notch has to be timed, and the little notch is someplace right in here. Yeah, the little notch is 4.5 degrees off center. So what I have to do is I have to get this in, drill the holes, tap them, flip it over, and make sure that it's still indexed, and then rotate it 45 degrees and drill my other set of holes. Now the question is how to do that and how to hold this thing down, because I've got to drill 4 holes, and this is aluminum, so you know it's very fragile, and you know you can't really clamp it down. So here's what I'm planning on doing. We're going to take this piece of aluminum, we're going to drill a hole in it and tap it to this size here, and then this bolt will go down through the center of this hole, and then we're going to machine this with a little step right here that'll just cover whatever, however much lip we have there. It looks like, you know, maybe 20 thousandths or something like that. I'm wondering, we could have it cover a bigger lip. That's what I'm thinking. And then just maybe grind out the 4 sides of that so that we can get that hole drilled in there, because that's not going to be much of a lip. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. Maybe we'll go see if we can find a 4-sided bolt. Yeah, the odds of that are pretty great, but we'll figure something out. So, but for the moment, that's the general plan, and we're going to drill a hole in this, and then we can clamp this down, and that would be solid. And then the bolt would be solid, and we also put a couple of index holes in here, and this would be solid, not rotationally. And then we come in with some T-clamp or some clamps, and just clamp this down and hang on to it. Okay, so that's a kind of a convoluted way of getting there, but you know, it's the only way I can see. So we'll be back once we start. Well, I'm going to drill the hole right now and get this thing set up. So we're going over to the little. All right, we got our piece sitting there. Snug it down. We're going to go in with a U drill bit. Not YOU. And that is the minor diameter of a 7/16 14 bolt. All right. There we are for that. 7/16 14. Okay. Shit. All right, turned it the wrong way. Hopefully we got threads left. Yep, we got threads. Well cleaned out. All right, that ought to do the trick for this part at least. Now what we need to do is get the bolt in here. And trim that head down. And I'm thinking it might not be a bad idea just to make it in aluminum. And that way it's aluminum against aluminum. It's not gonna really affect it. But we definitely gotta trim this head off anyhow. All right, that fits, but it doesn't leave much of a ledge. Let's see what we can do here. Well, let's not much of a ledge, but possibly enough just to get a little washer on there. And let's see what we can do about finding a washer. And on second thought, I don't think aluminum's going to be a good washer to use. So we're going to go ahead and make a steel washer. And basically, I think what we're going to do is just bore this out until it just barely fits that bolt. Okay. That's not gonna fit. I can see it already. This'll fit. That should do just fine. There we go. All right, we got a fit. Now I think what I'm going to do is just take it over to the saw and put a slot on that so that I can run a screwdriver down it. And other than that, I think we've got ourselves a... Other than the fact that this thing is warped. Shit. Okay, well, we'll take it over the end. We'll see what we can do. All right, one last pass. All right, a little bit more. There. Okay, that's a good start. And really, I don't even have to put the slot in there. I can just grab it with a pair of pliers and snug it down, because really it's going to be indexed by the plate on the bottom. This is just a hold down. So, but we do have to come in and put 4 relief slots all the way around this, and I think it's probably a good idea to go ahead and braze this up or something like that. And that way it's solid and we can put it in the mill and cut our reliefs without too much effort. All right, we got our bolt. We're going to just go ahead and braze this. That ought to do her. Okay, now we'll take it over to the lathe and we'll go ahead and clean up that whole under surface. All right, we're just going to clean up the back side of that washer. Ooh, hang on here. That's not going to work. There we go. Yeah, it looks pretty good. A little bit of a miss right there, but you know, who's counting? All right, let's go over to the mill. We're all set up here. We're gonna take a notch out of here and a notch here, and then come back to 0 and go over here and take a notch over here. So it's whoa. I guess we better tighten the quill. What do you think? Let's give that a try. Well, the washer fell apart, of course. So what I have to do now, and I realize that the washer shouldn't be attached to the bolt because it needs to float around and index with the holes in the piece. So we're going to do this one more time. We're going to get another washer. We're going to ream it out and put a bolt nut on it, and then come in and cut our reliefs. So I'm going to go hunting and pecking for a washer and a bolt. Okay, after a bunch of screwing around, we've finally got this thing set up, I think. All right, well, hopefully this is going to work. We'll take it over and take the nut off. Okay, so this is going to go on top of there. This little washer will go there. This will go down into the threaded part. And I believe we might have a setup here. Everything will have to get centered, of course. And so what we have to do now is come up with a something to index that. Well, we can center it by putting a relief in that. This is definitely thick enough that we could put just a little bit of a relief in there so it dropped down into it and it was totally centered. But that is going to happen tomorrow. For now, we'll be back.